Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. This is John Marco with Reporting Central, and we are going to run you through a quick demonstration of the Closer, which is our general ledger to subledger reconciliation tool for Dynamics GP. First thing you'll notice about the Closer is that it actually sits outside of Great Plains. So from an IT perspective, IT folks tend to really enjoy the fact that it does not need to be installed within Dynamics GP. The nice thing about the Closer also is it installs in about 15 minutes, and once you get it installed and get it unlocked and registered, the only thing you really have to do is set up your control accounts from a reconciliation standpoint. So I'm just going to walk you through the control account setup. You will notice very quickly how intuitive the Closer is to use. So from this drop down, I'm just going to pick our company name, and then we're going to pick the subledger that we want to categorize and pick for reconciliations, at least from a setup process. So here's the actual list of the modules that we reconcile to the general ledger. So the subledgers are for our payables, receivables, purchases, and accrued purchases or received not billed, sometimes called received not invoiced, cash, cost of sales. Down the bottom here is inventory. Now you notice we have several flavors of inventory. We have your standard inventory and then your HITB inventory. Within the inventory options, you also have inventory by class and then inventory by site, and that's again for HITB and for standard. So if we pick cash here, the account group here is kind of the layer that we have put in for the reconciliation process. In this example, we'll pick an account group called First Bank, and it knows the Closer actually picked these up when we did the installation here. It's intuitive enough to know what the main accounts are and what is most commonly used. So in this example, if we pick First Bank and we click on range and bring in the account or the segment ID from the general ledger and just click refresh here, you'll see that it brings us right to the cash accounts in the GL. Same thing would happen for payables and receivables. But once you get them all set up and done, you just have to save it. And then you're pretty much off and running with the Closer. So let's pick the database that we're going to run the reconciliation for. And in this case, we'll pick Fabricam. We are running Dynamics GP15 on the back end here. So keep in mind, folks, with Fabricam, it always throws some surprises at you from a data perspective. So we'll use, in the subledger reconciliation process here, we'll pick inventory as the subledger we're going to reconcile. And then again, here's the account groups that we have just walked you through how to set up. In the inventory example, it's an all items option. This could be a finished good option. It could be a manufactured item option, depending on how you set up your account groups. And then we pick our date range. The nice thing about the Closer, everybody, is that you can run the Closer all the way back in time to when you first opened up your Dynamics GP database. So if you've had some nagging problems that you've either written off in the past or are carrying forward and just talking with the auditors or the owners or whoever about it, it's just kind of an acknowledged thing, you can't figure it out, you've been carrying it forward for a few years, you now have the opportunity to go back in time and run the Closer and figure out what the issue is. So one of the biggest benefits of the Closer is actually how fast it runs. Typically it takes 30 seconds or less to run the process, and as you just saw how fast it was for a year on Fabricam. In some instances, it does take a little bit longer if the customer has a large database or potentially an underpowered server. Just as a quick example, we do have one of the largest users of Great Plains in the world with over 450 users, and I'm going to say a 1,500 gig database, probably bigger than that at this point in time, and it takes a little more than a minute to run their reconciliation process. So what we're looking at here is the reconciliation report for inventory for the account group all items inside of this date range. The nice thing about what we'll see here is you have your general ledger information on the left-hand side of the screen, your GL document and your GL amount, and then you have your subledger information on the right-hand side, your subledger document and subledger amount, and then whatever the variances are between the two areas. If we scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see that we have a no error zone here and then a grand total zone. So up in the upper right hand corner, you have the control account filter that makes up the all items account group for the inventory subledger. And then the grand total down here is actually the net change for these accounts over this time period. So let's come back up to the top here. I'm just going to do a little resizing. And take a look at some of these different reason codes and how the closer sorts things. So right at the top here, you'll notice this light blue section. This is one of the main sections of reason codes, and then within each main section, we have these darker blue lines, which are actually more specific reason codes for specific transactions. So this group are transactions in the general ledger that are not in the inventory subledger. And within that group, you have document not an inventory transaction history. So there's issues with the document item in the transaction history for inventory here. So you go and investigate that. Invoice distribution. Inventory distribution does not contain inventory account. That's what the potential issue is with these three transactions here. This group of transactions, the inventory account used, is a non-inventory distribution. The next major group here is transactions in the inventory subledger that are not in the general ledger. A first code here is the inventory distribution does not contain an inventory account. These transactions just haven't hit the general ledger yet. Could be timing, could be something else. In this example here, posting to the GL box is not checked. We also have a section a little further down for, let's see, here we go. For no errors or transactions matched in the GL and inventory subledger, and always the reason code in this category is no error. So we make the information available if you want to see it, but we don't show it because you don't need to do anything with it. So let me just show you a quick example of AP, and we'll see what that looks like, and then we'll do a little dump out to Excel and show you what that looks like as well. So if we bring up payables and pick our account group here of all vendors. We'll leave the date range the same, and then we'll just run the report here so you can kind of see how fast it is again. And again, what we're looking at is the closer report for payables, and it's the same format of report, and you're just getting the general ledger information for payables and the subledger information for payables. So in the context of reconciliations, think about how much time you would spend, finding these transactions either in the subledger side or over here in the GL side, and then trying to figure out what is wrong with them. And then think about taking a look at this report and saying, okay, the problems are found within 30 seconds, and then they're now being categorized so you actually know what the cause of the issue is, so now you can go and fix the root issue of the problem. A lot of times people ask us, well, what's the difference between your reports and the ones in Dynamics GP? So I guess if you're taking a look at this and you've seen the reports that are available in GP, I think you'll notice right away that we, go a lot deeper and provide a lot more detail. We suppress the transactions that are correct and don't take up any screen space or computer resources looking at them. And then there is a section on those on the Great Plains reports that are titled potentially matched. And more than 90% of the times, a significant number of those transactions in this GP report in that section called potentially matched are fine. And they're kind of wild goose chases, and you may end up spending more time than you need to looking at something that doesn't have an issue. So I'm going to show you guys here quickly, if we throw this out to Excel, what the format looks like. And the nice thing about putting it out to Excel and or PDF for that matter, is you can kind of save them in a PDF format and put them in your month end, your quarter end, or year end close document process. If you put it out to Excel, you can kind of use it as a working document. So if we bring it up here in Excel, the first thing you'll notice is that it's nicely formatted and actually looks like the report that we were looking at in the closer. So let's just take a look here. And again, so here's your company, the subledger, the account group, the date range, and the control account filter. And you're seeing the same exact information that we were looking at in the closer. Here you can, make some notes and do some highlighting, maybe send it around and say, hey, can somebody check this out? Can you check that out? And then once everybody has, updated something or given you feedback on what the issues might be, you can go back in and run the closer and print yourself a PDF copy and put it in a safe place. So let's close this out here. So again, just to recap, general ledger to subledger reconciliations in Dynamics GP for payables, receivables, accrued purchases, purchasing and received not invoiced, cash, cost of sales, all flavors of inventory, HITB inventory, standard inventory, by site and by class, and sales orders. So if you do have any questions, or if you've recently struggled or spent more time than you care to doing a reconciliation in Dynamics GP, please give us a call at 813-579-4991 or visit us at reporting-central.com, and we'd be happy to show you a personalized demonstration and talk about your specific reconciliation situation. Thanks very much and look forward to hearing from you.